Peadar, well, thanks for the presentation. It was the Intercept. It was wonderful. It was a good crowd here. Interesting topic. People learned a lot. But I have to start off. Where's your interest in Manx come from?
I suppose as a student of Irish, I'd always been interested in the greater Gaelic world as well. The relationship between Irish, Scottish Gaelic, and of course Manx. I'm very interested in historical linguistics and the historical development of Irish, and over the years it's become increasingly obvious to me that in order to understand that as well as anyone can hope to, you really do need to understand the historical development of Scottish Gaelic and of course Manx as well. And over time, my interests have kind of broadened, and I have a particular research interest in the 18th century, and already speaking Irish and Scottish Gaelic and having studied Manx for quite a while, it seems quite natural not to be bound by working solely on Irish or Scottish Gaelic, or for that matter Manx, but that really I'm kind of interested in the connections between all three of them.
Well, it's good that you are, because without your research you would probably, it was to see that sort of link, as you were saying, between sort of Ireland, Scotland, the Isle of Man in the late 18th century, surrounding one person in particular which you were talking about. Yeah,
one of the characters which I'm particularly interested in is a guy called James McLaggen, who was a major collector of Scottish Gaelic literature at a time when Scottish Gaelic literature was very much a focus of debate in not just in Britain and Ireland, but in Europe in a wider sense. And one of the other things that makes McLaggen very interesting is that he himself spent extended periods in Ireland and in the Isle of Man. And he was uniquely positioned, I suppose, to collect, to describe, and to make connections between other people who are interested in Gaelic literature in both Ireland and of course in the Isle of Man, as we was talking about today.
Particularly Finn Ocean. So you pinpoint particularly it was to 1771 as being a key, date in Manx literature then, and the creation of Manx literature really.
Yeah, 1771 is an important date for a number of reasons, primarily because that's the point at which James McLaggen comes to the Isle of Man. And he's, as I say, he's a massive collector of Gaelic literature in Scotland, and as a Scottish Gaelic speaker posted to the Isle of Man, he obviously takes an interest in the Gaelic literary heritage of the Isle of Man, and is responsible, it would seem, in collaboration with people like Philip Moore and John Kelly, who are at that stage coming to the end of the translation of the Manx Bible. Those two characters, along with McLaggen, seem to have been responsible for the collection and preservation of quite a lot of very important Manx secular literature. Which of course isn't as voluminous as the religious literature, but is quite important.
Do you think there's a continuation then between 1771 and 2004? For example, we're at the Bunskull, was it yesterday? I can't remember now. And I think it's important from our point of view. I mean, clearly we can't do much about the past. We're trying to create a new cohort of speakers for the future. But I think for the crowd, the people who are here today, it's important to see where the language comes from in some shape or form, isn't it? It's not just about the future. You need that sort of degree of continuity and sort of that thread that between 1771 and 2014.
Yeah, I think that's very important. I think it's always very important that research like this, which is very much based in a specific community, that research is made available to that community and that they're aware of it. I think it's perhaps even more important in the case of the Manx language community, because it is their literary inheritance in a very real way. and it's important. It's important that people are made aware of that, and that they are given access to it.
Yeah.
And it is part and parcel of the Manx revival in one sense. In a lot of ways, it is. You can look at it as the start of the Manx revival.
Indeed, yeah. Well, cheers for sharing that literary heritage with us, really. And as you say at the end, hopefully through the Bunscol and things like that, there will be more future contributors to that literary tradition, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, good amide.
Tá fáilt.